Zoom.
Troy Sampson, City Facilities.
Bridget Johnston, City Facilities.
Emily Jacobson, City Facilities.
Well, and Helen Paulson, committee member.
Yeah.
It's just, I've got a title.
And I'm Jeannie Warding.
And Jenny Staff.
I'm Brian Moody. I work at the Montana Arts Council. I met Kathy. I never caught her last name, but I met her at the history conference, and she told me that I should come. And it hasn't happened in the 3 years I've been at the Montana Arts Council, but community development is something that I'm supposed to do. And so I think engaging with city governments is a great way to start learning about how to best do that. So
absolutely. Yeah, glad to have you here.
yeah, excited to be here.
Sweet. Well, I think first we have quite a few minutes to get through this meeting. I think it was 4 months worth of meetings, and thank you so much for putting all those all together. Did anyone? Yeah, everyone has had a chance to look through those. And did anyone have any major edits or adjustments that they saw? I think the one thing we did catch was Ramsey's name was.
Yeah, there was an EY where there should have been an AY, but it was spelled right all the other times. So autocorrect.
Yeah, exactly.
I move we approve all 4 months.
Great. And I think we can approve minutes as written. And with that,
Someone second that?
I don't know if we have 2 seconds.
If you want us to change the name, change, yes.
Okay, all right, then
Oh.
yes.
I don't think,
Okay.
I don't think she cares. She spells it wrong or something.
I'm approved, and then move on to staff reports.
Okay, sorry, that's me. Trying to think of did I have something on here? I think the only thing I have to report is that on November 9th at 5 o'clock at the Civic Center is the next board training. If you guys did get a chance to read through the bylaws that we'll talk about in 5, it does mention that all board members will be required to have that training once a year. The commission office is going to offer it twice a year. So there'll be this one on November 9th, and then there'll be another one in the spring. She did mention that there's going to be a guest speaker at this one. His name is Mark Wilmarth, and he's going to speak kind of basically about efficient board meetings. And from what she says, he's like a real likable guy, and keeps it light and bouncy, and stuff might be kind of interesting. But that will be, they'll be getting invitations from the commission office, I think by the end of the week from Alex. So.
Do we know how long that lasts?
I don't, but maybe Alex will have that in the memo.
I have a hard out at 6:30.
It's usually that they keep it under an hour and a half.
Okay.
I'll ask Alex tomorrow if she can include. There's a Sweet.
Okay.
If they do it on Zoom again, or they have like a Zoom option potentially.
I believe
Does
so.
that goes?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that would be great. And yeah, if you guys haven't attended it before, they're pretty informative and pretty light.
Yeah, I did it on Zoom last time.
Yeah, really informative too. And then yeah, we can just move on to the annual report. Is that something we can pull up here on the screen? Perfect. Perfect. So you guys have seen this in many forums. It hasn't. There's just been a few slight adjustments from last month's meeting, just based off of recommendations that everybody made. So this is just like the first page, and you can scroll down to the second one. We can just quickly go through this again. And I'll be presenting this to the commission. I think it's next week.
Yes,
Right.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, I have it in my calendar. But basically, we just go through the last fiscal year with the Bounty Memorial sculpture, the 6th Ward Wayfinding mural, it looks like I've got a total on a weird spacing thing that I'll fix. And then moves on to the Centennial Tunnel Mural Project, which is now called Momentum, which is a celebration of inspirational art, history, and community that keep Helena moving forward. And then if you go down to the next page, this is where we just show that kind of community involvement, that she had quite a few people between CWG Architecture, Booth Marketing, Attack Holter, 406 Houses, Sherwin-Williams. And so it'll be really nice just to kind of speak to how many folks were involved in this, besides just the one artist who was selected. And then also that is the final sign design, with suggestions that everyone made from our last meeting. And so I think it's looking great. And has that been sent to the printer yet? No. Okay. But yeah, maybe here in the next couple months we'll get that installed and that project wrapped up. But yeah, you can scroll down to the next one. And so then we'll talk about just the projects we have moving forward into this next spring with the dumpster art, with the 5 trash cans during a live painting event, as well as our kind of future community collaboration, which is kind of yet to be decided. And then for the projects that we'll be proposing for the next fiscal year would be the Lindale Tunnel Mural, which we have $15,000 for. So I just gave a little bit of kind of background in that description of, Centennial Park, just a general thing of an artist or team of artists for the north, south face and the tunnel sidewalls, that it's about 2,400 square feet and will be sealed with the anti-graffiti sealant. And then I added Max's line to the bottom.
That's
kind
a killer
of,
sentence.
it is. It's you gotta give the why. Dismal. Scary. It is. It can be a little scary. Not for long, hopefully. Yeah, and then I kind of just go into some other kind of things that we have, every year, between always updating the digital public art map, with the new kind of 6th Ward additions, as well as like our promotion opportunities for this next year of kind of how we'll be updating our marketing materials now that we have a lot of kind of new, fresh public art to be able to, to share. And I'll look into updating, say, like, we can do like a printed map, of downtown art or different kind of marketing materials that we'll be updating for HVAC to use. And I also just kind of left the line, it's like we'd love to do community outreach, but we're not exactly sure, which events and what events. And it seems like they kind of can come up rather quickly. So if there's any, particular, events that you think we should be at that we should include. I know for this year, Kids Fall Fest really is the only one that, Ramsey has had the capacity to be able to do for us, which has been amazing. But I just wanted to kind of leave that really general, as well as just public art maintenance. And then we'll just kind of always assess and document any needs around the city and what their associated costs might be. And then for the second proposal that we're hoping is to wrap about 8 more traffic signal boxes. And then we've got 19 Blake signal boxes around Helena approximately, and they're all in prominent and high traffic locations. So basically we're just trying to get more of these wrapped, especially in kind of choice locations like near schools, on main thoroughways, and kind of waypoints in and out of Helena. And it was an interesting, I realized we've wrapped 19 boxes since 2018. So it was kind of great to see how many been able to accomplish, in really a fairly short amount of time. So hopefully we can convince them to keep doing it. Oh yeah, and then our other proposal would be for fiscal year 25, which would be the Memorial Park band shell. And just a little bit of research I did about this, that it was created in the 1940s. I kind of gave a little bit of insight into, to kind of the performances that are there, the community events, and that since the 1970s, the new mural has been painted approximately every 10 years, with the last being completed in 2010. And then it states that we're recommending that HPAC have a new mural be painted on the band shell, you know, with inviting and intriguing art that will inject fresh energy into a well-loved space that community members of all ages for many years or to enjoy for many years to come. But yeah, I think especially on this section, if anyone has any suggestions or thoughts, you know, as to what else we might want to mention, or, you know, more kind of a, you know, if there's any other kind of why statements of why this is, you know, would be an important thing in our community. But yeah, any thoughts and feedback on that would be great. I think that's all we've got. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, and I mean, just all thanks to, you know, all of you guys, and just, you know, little bits and pieces that we've been able to put together to make this happen. Also, too, our logo is now City of Helena Public Art Committee. And
Arts.
so, yeah, not arts. And so singular. So we just updated that throughout. But yeah, does anyone have any questions or thoughts or anything else that we should, you know, consider including or implementing? I think I would need to have the final to you by Friday. It will include on the agenda right for next week, right? I'll plan on Friday unless you want it sooner.
And I'm not here Friday, so
Okay.
if you wanna copy Troy, or you wanna do this tomorrow.
That is tomorrow. Which I think this, unless anyone has, you know, does anyone have any thoughts or anything?
That's really solid. My only question about the bachelor is, does anybody maintain data about the number of performances and attendance? I mean, if that data doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. There's no point in including it if it's readily accessible.
Yeah,
Couple
maybe
nice
like a
data points.
rental. Maybe they have like a
Parks.
rental form for it.
Yeah.
Parts of other information, they don't know how
Readily available.
it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they have attendance numbers, they would probably just have number of rentals they have each year. or something like that.
Yeah, I just did some sleuthing on Facebook just to see, you know, what posts that are tagged there, you know,
Yeah.
and like people that have checked in there, and just kind of trying to figure out, you know, what events happened backwards.
Yeah.
That.
It's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
I think it's ready to go.
Bravo.
Great. And so is there any, so I'm just trying to think here, so is that something that we would need to kind of approve it in its finality, you think, to be able to then kind of present it? It probably wouldn't be that move.
I mean, it's good for, kind of the CYA for you, since you're not presenting, you know, it's officially backed by the committee. So.
I move that we approve the annual report for delivery.
Great. And then if there's, I think before that, if there might be any like public comment.
Just one. I think it looks great. Just one little nitpicky thing. Sometimes the sentence ends with a period and sometimes it doesn't. So you want to just go through and make sure it's consistent throughout. I noticed that in the beginning. So,
Sure. Oh, yeah, like it's one of those, yeah, I can absolutely do that.
So just make sure you got a period at the end of your sentences if you're going to do it that way.
Right, so hearing a first and second, all in favor of approving the annual report to present for next week's commission meeting, say aye. Any opposed? No, it's approved. Thank you guys so much. It'll be very exciting to kind of get off the plate and kind of hear what the commission has to say about that. All right, well, HPAC bylaws discussion and approval.
That's actually your guys' item, so
Okay.
I'll let you guys lead with this, but basically.
Did everyone get a chance to look at the bylaws and no?
Yeah, I thought tonight did a really great job of being really thorough. Taking us through that in the last meeting. Did anyone have any questions or thoughts or things to consider before we?
Yeah, I thought it looked very thorough. It's nice to have all that stuff in one spot. That's an easy to navigate document that we can reference in time of need.
I would move to approve the bylaws.
Is it a second? Sorry, I didn't hear. All right, all in favor of approving Oh, all right, is there any public comment pertaining to the bylaws? All right, hearing none, all in favor of approving the bylaws as they were written, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, we'll consider them approved. Just cranking through it tonight, guys. Let's go. All right, Centennial Park, Lindale Tunnel, Mural RFP input. Very excited for this one.
Okay, so I hope you guys all had a chance to look at it. If you did, you're probably about as familiar as I am. I did it really fast. So basically, based on the timeline, which
Is it possible to share it up on the screen?
oh
or-
yeah, it should be on. It's down there. The bylaws.
The bylaws are very long.
Here it is.
Basically just looking for any input that you guys would like to recommend to us as staff as we finalize this before we, put it out. If there's anything you guys would like to recommend.
This is pretty consistent with the RFP we did for the other channel.
Yep, in fact, I used the last one and then I just made some edits and
Was there any issues that arose with the last RFP that you felt like should be addressed in this new proposal, or?
that's a great question. There was an amendment to the last one that had a lot of clarification in it. And I did put, Emily, if you could scroll down to, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. So all those numbers, most of that was from the amendment. I planned this time, and I don't have this in here yet, to basically create a template for their submittal, so that it's like, here's page one is this, page 2 is that, because it took me so much time last time to one, just get rid of all their personal information, and two, just to get them like kind of in the same order and then find out what was missing and then getting back to them and saying, hey, I don't see a schedule, can you send that? And if I hadn't taken the time to do all of that, we would have had maybe 5. We probably only had like 5 actually correct submissions. So I plan to add that. That's not in here yet. And then I was hoping maybe Amanda would give us another template for the actual tunnel. Is that something you would be willing to do again?
Yeah, totally. I
Like
think
we
I
did for the
even
other?
did it years ago really badly, so at least I have something to like work off of.
Okay,
Yeah, I can do that, no problem.
that would be, I would love that.
Yeah.
Is that the elevation drawing of it?
It's the one where they like use it to basically create their template that they submit to the artwork.
Yeah, like a really like rough, like as if it were like a color by number or color and book kind of thing, and like fill in what it would be.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember, like in this, do we kind of we don't really give the artist any, it's basically like a free reign of what they want their mural concept to be, right? I'm trying to recall.
I don't have anything in there right now, but if you guys want to recommend something, absolutely.
I like
Feel
that this
free to-
one's a lot looser from the last one where we had to include railroad related things.
Yeah.
I think this is refreshing to have not be beholden to any subject matter.
Yeah, absolutely, because I think sometimes folks can kind of take those things very literally too. I mean, sometimes we can get very, very Helena-centric, which is great. I think there's just like, it's, leaving it really open to interpretation, I think will bring back a lot of really great submissions. And so basically, when would this RFP go out and go live? Or is that still kind of up for?
No, I've got like an actual date. Just. Oh, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, can you scroll down again, Emily? Okay, go back up. You'll see there's a schedule, I just don't know if it has the date and stuff.
Yeah, because I
think
see
it
when they're
does.
due is the 29th. Oh, here we go.
I had it, it's before the deadline for questions, I think it's like, it's beginning November, so it's like 2 full months, November and December,
That makes sense.
so it'll be open for quite a while.
I think that'll be great.
But yeah, I don't have it, but I have like it lined out, like the date of everything I've got to do in our project management planning. Like the day I'm gonna do the press release and like all of that stuff is.
Great. I think that'll be great. It'll be good just to kind of get this moving too. Put the wheels in motion.
Yep, so we'll be reviewing them that January 17th meeting.
So about November 1st is a good idea when the RFP will be live and.
Yeah, it's right around there.
Start accepting. Okay.
What is the end date? June 16th, is that because of the fiscal year? Okay, so we would have to pay them around July 16th. That would still make the fiscal year correct.
No, it doesn't take us 30 days to pay. So I did June 16th, I can't remember what day of the week that is, with the intention of having the next day to inspect it, make sure it's okay, and then to be able to bill us then and still get paid by the end of the month. So our end of the fiscal is June 30th.
Could you scroll up just a tiny bit? I just want to look through that selection criteria. That all looks in line with what we did last. Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much, again, Bridget, for putting this together. It really looks good. Were there any other sections that anyone wanted to kind of look through? Any other thoughts, if you know, any recommendations? Or perhaps any grammar things, but I mean, I think it looks rock solid. With how I
Don't judge it for grammar yet. I haven't
Yeah,
done
okay.
that yet.
Yeah.
I'm not one to like
Yeah.
judge grammar.
Yeah.
It's like the worst.
I guess on the selection criteria on the page below this one, number 2, does the second one still make sense if we're kind of leaving it an open-ended concept? Did that more apply to the last one we did? Because we wanted that to kind of narrow in on Helena.
I think it works as kind of like as an umbrella one, because it can kind of mean, appropriateness can kind of be a generalization too of like, do we as the selection committee, find that it's appropriate,
Okay.
whether it's like to the park or to Helena or to wherever, whatever its context is. But yeah, I think that's a good question though. And I think too, with the rail one, when we had multiple, where it was like, one that was, how is it related to the railroad history? And then also how is it appropriate? So that way, if there was a great concept that was, not necessarily about, trains, it's, it could still kind of score.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty subjective. It could also be good to have that because we don't want like a skyline of Great Falls or something that's nothing to do with.
I was thinking like sea otters, on the
Yeah. Sea otters, yeah.
fishing on the ocean.
I like sea otters, but might not be appropriate for downtown Helena.
It could be though, you never know. They might do a really good job. But yeah, Kathy, did you have something?
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking, how weather can be. And with it starting in April and it still can be kind of cold, and whether or not your paint will adhere well. And whether or not if there's a way to leave some flexibility on when it needs to be completed, if that could be negotiated if necessary or extended if necessary. I understand the year-end thing, but if it's cold and thinking when they were painting on the outside, the entrances, and if it's rainy, June often is rainy and cold. So just something to think about.
You know what does happen if the weather is horrible in the spring?
I couldn't hear you.
I said, what will happen if the weather is horrible and they can't get it done in time?
Yeah, so we typically in our contracts we do give them a little extra time. And we always work with the contractors for things like that. It's not, if they get rained out for 2 weeks, we're not gonna, I mean, we can always extend a contract as well. And so
You
we have
can
a lot
accrue
of
monies
flexibility.
against the contract if it goes beyond the end of the fiscal year.
I'm sorry,
Can you accrue monies against the contract if it extends beyond the end of the fiscal year?
And I know when I chatted with Sophie, who did the peacock mural, and I was asking her about a lot of the, it's like cold and stuff, and I think might be from, it's hard to say if it's, inexperience or a lot of experience, but she said that weather's never really affected her, and that she'll paint, can paint in the cold, but then who knows, cure times and things like that they could potentially plant, but her as a muralist, painting in Montana hadn't had any issues until that point. But I think those are things that we can kind of cross that bridge when we get there, if we get there. For sure. Yeah, any other discussion? Let's see, and then do we need to approve that as well?
unless you have some recommendations.
Okay, yeah. Great, yeah, thank you
Nice
again,
job.
Bridget. Very cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And then community collaboration RFP draft. And I did just get word from Ramsey that she wants us to move forward with this. She's not here.
Cool. She's in support.
Yes, and it's
Yeah, I love that. The community collaboration draft. That's nice to have a easy to fill out form for people when they come asking us for assistance.
yeah, absolutely. So basically, just to kind of remind everyone, we have that potential matching funds up to $5,000 to consider, and we're trying to find an equitable way to be able to kind of advertise this and to see who in the community there might be a need for, and to be able to kind of vet those in a similar way at a similar time. So this is the same draft that Ramsey put together for us last month, and I just added an intro paragraph and a header, but it's basically the same. And I think I did include the matching funds up to 1,000 or 5,000 because we did originally budget request. There was also like $1,000 opportunity budget, but I believe the mural, the 6th mural that we were hoping to help with was became already funded that next week, and so that they no longer had a need for those funds.
So should we word that? It says funds up to 1,000 or 5,000. Why not just say funds up to 5,000?
Yeah, that is a good question. Maybe we do just simplify it, and then who knows, maybe then when we have options, there's someone where if there could be an opportunity for $1,000 to still make it happen.
Or it sounds like the way I read that, it sounds like you can have $1 to $1,000 or $5,000. Not 1,500 or anything between 1 and 5.
Sure. Yeah, I think we can definitely update that and just kind of remove that from the line.
And then will this be available on the city website for people to just download a PDF?
We could definitely make that.
So that way they don't have to come to us and we print them out a piece of paper or something.
Yeah.
Send them on their way.
I think too, what we probably want to discuss as a committee is kind of what that timeline would look like and the process for review, especially now knowing that the Lindale Tunnel RFP, will run from November to December, and probably my inkling would be to, wait, let just each breathe in its own, rather than trying to, do multiple press releases and multiple things, and less for kind of city staff to have to manage. But yeah, does anyone have any thoughts for maybe when that would be, even if it were perhaps, starting even first of the year? Or in that, in the beginning of the year. Yeah, does anyone have any thoughts on that?
So the budget allows for up to $5,000. So would we accept submittals potentially every month until the $5,000 is committed? Or if one request took the entire amount, then that would be it for the year. Is that the plan?
That's a good question. I think probably for this round, doing, reviewing them all at the same time. So that way it really is like, gives everyone an equal chance and equal footing. And so we avoid oh, I didn't hear about this until after it was already awarded.
I guess, does this need to fall within a fiscal year deadline?
Yes, I think the same as the Lindale tunnel. So we would need to, would all be by June 31st.
Okay, we'd have to pay out by then.
Do we say that anywhere in the document?
I don't know if we do. So I would assume then that we would ask them that this project be completed by June 2023, to kind of fall in line with that. Before they
And so we're reviewing tunnel RFPs in January. So maybe February or March.
Yeah, even if it's, if we were to announce this in January,
Is this something that is just ongoing, or is this a special, we're looking for a special project to work on, or is this just ongoing, so whenever somebody has a project, they can just, instead of asking us for money, we can just send them here, and they download the form.
Right, well, I feel like for this one, since it's like we're already kind of on a time crunch, my thought would be that I would also take any recommendations from anyone, but
If we don't use up this budget, it's not a problem.
Yeah, it's not,
I
but
think we just leave it up, and anytime people have a project, they can fill it out. It might take us 2 months to get back to them, because we'd have to do a meeting to discuss it, and then another meeting to.
where we might run into challenges though is, if we were to approve something and then there's still that window where people still think it's open the whole next month, and then they come to present to us the
But
next
isn't
month.
it always open?
It's always open until we close it, but there'll be that window, those windows in between where we have to approve it by the commission, where people could then come to us thinking that it's an opportunity. We're like, nope, we already spent it.
Maybe next year,
Uh-huh.
put you in for July.
So would you see us maybe having two, or just having one essentially for each fiscal year? So, come, next month or whenever we want to put this online, someone could find one that would be due or, get paid out by June or July. But then if they're thinking their project they might not even start it until this time next year, they could apply for that fiscal year 2025.
Right. Well, I think where we might run into issues is that we're not going to the commission asking for another round of community collaborations, which, might be a little too late to consider that now, since we already passed the agenda item.
I think your instinct to keep it kind of simple and streamlined this first year is right. You can maybe post it, like you said, the first of the year with considerations in February. So.
Yeah, that way we kind of just keep it equal for everyone for this first round, and then from there we can maybe, learn the next time that we present this to the commission and go through the process, and also then have a whole year to, plan out when we would accept submissions or if they would be rolling. And we could probably have more discussions about that. Yeah, so with that in mind, maybe if we were to say release this first week of, January to the public, or at least as like a resource on the, and we could promote it on our Facebook and then through our own kind of art networks. Would a month be enough time to then be able to review those selections, say the next meeting, that next February? Or should we kind of buffer in time? Because then it's March, then it's April, May, it's like suddenly time just keeps getting smaller and smaller. I think I would be more inclined to kind of do it fast and quick.
Yep.
And so maybe if the request deadline could be, say, a week or a few days before whenever our February meeting would be. So that way we can kind of quickly review them and respond. Okay, I think that's all I need for the timeline for the time being, to then kind of update this document a little bit further, and then we can kind of, review those fine tunes at our next meeting really quickly and maybe approve it to then be kind of ready to go in January. I think there might be a second page to that. Maybe we can just quickly look at. Oh, and this is the one I think Ramsey came up with these questions. And so if anyone just had any other thoughts or recommendations on this. Looks good. Great. I can definitely just make those adjustments, and then we could review it quickly just one more time next month to approve it, and then get this out the door. Yeah, and as this is, I don't think we're really because I don't think we're approving this right now, so I don't know if this is like a public comment thing at this moment. Yeah, Kathy, maybe if you have any adjustments, maybe you can just email me.
Okay.
Great. All right, art maintenance supplies. Yeah, this was something I couldn't recall if we had discussed last meeting, I think.
No.
Okay, great. Basically, what I was looking into is if we could purchase some of that anti-graffiti cleaner to have on hand. I believe it's, say, $50 for, 16-ounce bottle. But I think just to have on hand, here either at the, here at the city building or for the Parks Department to have on hand, just in case if something were to come up and it's not this, to approve it, get it purchased, so that way if there are any issues, they could be dealt with really quickly. So, yeah, I just wanted to include this for everybody too. Yeah, it's great. I'm not sure if this is something that can we just like recommend that the city purchase this. I'm not sure how else to.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, the Parks Department, whether it's this product or what they've been using, but they have some on hand.
Sure.
We have, it's in a park, Parks guys take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
We visited with Parks Department and they know that, we'd be happy to purchase those supplies from our maintenance budget and help them, maintain that stuff. So I think internally we can just make that happen.
Okay, that would be great. And I think for this stuff in particular, this is what's recommended for the anti-graffiti sealant that's used.
Oh,
So it'll save them a lot more time and potentially, messing with the integrity of the surface.
Gotcha.
Just use the exact product that's recommended. So great. I have 28 pages of this agenda. All right, yeah, public art events and promotion opportunities. This one. I think all I can think of off the top of my head is that it's the Balloon Festival this weekend. Neil Souter making it
Yeah, Neil
happen.
finally got his
Yeah, making it
festival
happen.
together.
Very happy for him. And so if anyone's around, they should definitely go check it out. I like the Scarecrow thing down at on the corner at 6th and Last Chance. And I think too, this could just be a chance if anyone else knows of any kind of art things happening in the community that we want to maybe keep in the back of our minds for either promotion or chalk donations or anything like that. But I think as we're kind of going into the holiday season, there'll be kind of less options for that. So I believe that's oh yeah, and then fall art block. Just forget about that. Which is like, it seems like there's so much going on November 10th. So I think it should be really fun. Does anyone else know of any other things going on, or we can just kind of cruising along? Communications. I think basically, since we won't meet before the Glendale Tunnel RFP is released, we can make a plan as a committee to maybe make some graphics again to promote this, to then have on our Facebook page and whatnot. So Max, maybe that's something you and I can work on together.
Okay, yeah, you can always delegate graphic stuff to me.
Yeah, I think that's really all as far as kind of communications we have going on.
Will we do anything to announce our annual report after it's shared with the commission, posted on the Facebook page or anything like that?
Sure, would you guys like that?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, thank you for thinking of that.
Yeah,
Wouldn't have been fun.
yeah. I think it really does a great job of reflecting the work of this committee. So.
Great. No, yeah, I think that would be fantastic. Let's see anything else for communication?
Number 9 or 10, sorry.
We are at
On
10,
right.
now on 10.
Okay, I don't know if you guys saw, but there are 2 vacancies on the board, so the youth member, they did away with, they decided not to do that across the boards.
Oh,
So it is just 2 member at large positions that are currently available.
wow.
Okay,
So, the city's put it out a few times. I need to put it on the Facebook page, but just spread the word.
yeah, great, yeah, once it's on the Facebook page, we'll have a link that we can send people, right?
Sure.
Yeah, that would be great. Anyone in any of our art circles, I think that'd be nice to have get some,
Yeah.
more gung ho art folk in here. Yeah, I think we're already moving on to 11, guys. Public comment again. Is there anything else that we want to kind of, anyone wants to include for next month's meeting, or any other thoughts? We're hearing none. Entertain a motion.
I move we adjourn.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Nice.
Nice meeting you.
Effective.
Look at us, we're so effective.